Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jamin Shively. This is my father, John Shively, and this is going to be the last last video in a series that we're doing. And I really want to thank you and acknowledge you, Dad, for your patience in sitting through all these videos. It really means a lot to me that you're here and that you're a part of this. So thank you. On this topic, this will be a short video. I just want to talk a little bit about the culture of spectral radius and some of the ground rules, because we're inviting a broad audience to this. In fact, we want people from around the world and from all different academic disciplines, all different industries, levels of government, nonprofit organizations, people who are unemployed. I mean, we want everyone in the entire gamut to participate in this. And so the ground rules for how spectral radius works, and how it's not so much how we want to communicate, but it's more like what not to do, I think is a better way to phrase it. So basically, express yourself however you want to express yourself. Just make sure, the bottom line is make sure you don't hurt anyone in the process. You don't offend anyone or hurt anyone's feelings. And there's an extremely good book on this topic. It's written by a Stanford professor. It is top shelf business strategy material, and it has a name which the title of the book may be offensive to some people, but because it has a word which is considered a bad word. But that bad word is actually used in a very academic, technical sense, because there's no other word for it in the human language to date that best characterizes it. The title of the book is The No Asshole Rule. I highly recommend it, and it talks about the influence, the impact of assholes in organizations, and they have a devastating impact. I mean, I experienced it firsthand when I was at Microsoft. You'd have maybe a room full of 10 people, hardworking, well-intentioned, let's roll up our sleeves and get some good work done, and then the 11th person is and this is another technical term, a certified flaming asshole, right? I mean, someone who's really out there to hurt people. I mean, they get up in the morning and they've got it in their gut or their heart or their head or whatever that they need to put other people down in order to, feel good, or they need to manipulate other people or take credit for their work.
Which begs the question, how do they manage to rise?
It's really interesting. It's a combination of, a lot of these are very competent assholes, in the sense that they're hardworking, they're productive, they work long hours, they're smart, they know how to network, and oftentimes, and this has happened to me, numerous times in my career, unfortunately, where other people take credit for work that I've done, and
so they steal.
Yeah, they steal. But I mean, not all assholes are thieves, but I think unfortunately a lot of them are. And they may not think of themselves as thieves. They may think of themselves as, hey, well, I'm really the one who did this. I'm the one who put it all together. Or I'm the founder. I'm whatever. And so they feel some sort of right to do it, or entitlement to do that. So anyway, all of that is strictly prohibited. And if you have any doubt about it, please read the book, The No Asshole Rule. You can get it on Amazon. And that's actually a whole conversation I'd like to have, is to kick off a conversation about the ground rules for spectral radius. It's not for me to lay down, but really ultimately it's the board. And as I mentioned in a previous video, we want for the majority of the board of directors to be women. And so, I don't want this to be a conversation that men drive. I want this to be a conversation that, the entire board, men and women, participate in.
I think you need a mix.
Oh my goodness! Not only do we need, we need a mix, and I actually think the mix should be heavier weighted on the female side than the male side, for the reasons we discussed in a previous video. Yeah. But anyway, I just want to make some preliminary, kind of just basic points, like the no asshole rule, for example. So that rule, that's one thing where I will certainly, in fact, that'll probably be, part of my own criteria for, doing my part to evaluate potential board members, male or female, is what do you think about the no asshole rule, right? What do you, what do you think about this sort of code of ethics that I'm proposing? But really, I want a lot more richer input. In fact, I'll probably see if I'll see if I can schedule a hangout with the author of the No Asshole Rule to get some more input from him and from some other professionals. Anyway, one other basic ground rule that I want to state is there is zero pressure associated with participating in spectral radius. In other words, it's against the rules, for lack of a better way of stating that. It's against the rules to pressure anyone to either participate in a conversation or to answer a question or to defend something that they had said before. So this isn't a debate. This isn't about winning or being right or wrong. Another rule I'd like to implement is it's okay to start a conversation without being an expert in that conversation, or without having all the answers, or without having any answer, but just saying, hey, this is an important topic that I think needs to be addressed, and here's some of the species and groups and ecosystems which are impacted by it, and here's what I just want to kick it up. I just think no one's talking about this and people need to talk about it. That's perfectly fine. That's fair. So really, that's part of a larger point, which is that no one should really feel judged by how they, communicate or share on spectral radius, unless if they're being an asshole, right? So, assholes of the world beware. And by that, I'm not saying that, hey, if you're an asshole, you can never be on spectral radius. No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, please take a shower and wash off that asshole mud from your entire body, and dry off, clean up, and if you pass the sniff test, welcome in. And but I'm just saying this is not friendly territory for assholes. Assholes will be systematically addressed, right? They won't necessarily be kicked out immediately, but we'll say, look, it's not. We don't have anything against you. It's your behavior that's the issue. And so anyway, those are just some of the basics I wanted to lay down. I don't want to violate my own rule of not pressuring anyone, because I know I've kind of pressured you a little bit here. So I apologize for that. Anything you want to say on that? We're still rolling, but I just want to give you an opportunity to express what it's like for you to
use that term asshole only when it merits quotes around it.
Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I took a couple of minutes just to set this.
Well, you used it in other contexts, and so keep your language as clean as possible.
Your point is well taken. It's just that
you're quoting, that's legitimate.
Yeah.
But to use it outside the context of quotation.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense. Anything else, Dad?
No, I think we've come to the conclusion here.
Okay, I just want to clarify one thing. I mean, Dad, because you have taught me so much, and you have prepared me so well to play the part that I'm playing right now in Spectral Radius, I just think it's really important that you be a part of Spectral Radius and part of these kind of foundational first couple dozen videos on Spectral Radius. So it's with that spirit that because so that everyone knows, I'm leaving today on a trip, heading back to Seattle from the Bay Area, which is where I grew up. And so I just really wanted to make sure we got through these core videos before we rolled on. But I also want to acknowledge that I have pressured you. I broke my own rule, and I apologize for the pressure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thanks everybody for watching. Please look out for more videos to be released soon. Thanks.